Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. Back in the creative mode here, playing with fluid setups. This alternative was suggested, and it fixes the problem. Back up here with this setup, we'd have the problem where this stuff would get kind of hung up in here, and it's not that big of a deal, but it's not really optimal either. But by flipping the priorities so that we're pulling them off here, it keeps these lines clear. This could back up, but it's only ever going to back up with petroleum. And in this particular setup, that doesn't seem to be a problem. So whereas I had the petroleum filter out here, it is now moved down here. And yeah, no, this is working really well. We don't get that little backup in the middle, and we get everything that I need. You'll notice that I moved it down to this setup. I actually, in the last episode, I completely destroyed the sushi setup. I unhooked these wires and never hooked them back. Well, I hooked them back, but I didn't hook them back correctly. So our sushi setup got into a deadlock state, as they tend to do. So yeah, I just, went with the idea that we'll have the one sushi belt coming down, and it'll go down and feed this other one as well. Looks like we're getting enough stuff in here too, which is good. I was a little bit concerned about that. Barrel returns working, and someone was mentioning, I guess a couple were mentioning that this could back up, and I don't know if maybe that part wasn't caught, but that's what this red wire is right here. This red wire is going back, and it's tying up to these inserters, but that's just being simulated in creative mode. In reality, this would be the barrel production, or at least a buffer of barrels off of the production line, and it's not going to produce any more or throw any more out on the belt, get into the system, until it falls under that. So we're counting the ones that we take off, and with our separate counter here, this counter is tracking how many barrels we have on the line. And as long as we keep that below what this belt can handle, we should be fine. Well, actually, I guess there's a potential for the empty barrels as well. So we don't want to push the limits too much. We want to leave enough room for the empty barrels to come back. I really don't think we're going to be even close. Speaking of fluid production, we need to get into that. So I am going to roll the intro and flip over to the other map and see what we can do about barreling us some fluids. All right, I'm just noticing a couple of logistic bots dropping off some used up uranium fuel cells in storage. That is not a good thing. That must mean... Yeah, that's backed up. That's all backed up. We need to make it where these inserters don't work if we have any of those in there. Yeah, and someone had mentioned we are running... I didn't hook up the sulfuric acid line whenever I broke it. I thought I did, but I missed a pipe. Let's see, right there. Let's see, we can fix that from space. Not that we're in any danger at all of running out of sulfuric acid anytime soon, but still, I probably notice it in a couple of years. All right, so let's get into bottling some fluids, or barreling some fluids, I guess I should say. And I think we need to get rid of some stuff. I've been stockpiling some modules down here for a time which we may need them. We have 489 and 168. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut the cord on these guys, and if we need more, we'll make a more dedicated module making facility here in the future. Because, yeah, I want to get rid of, like, a lot of this stuff. And let's just do that. Okay, we do not want to make any more plastic. Or we do want to make more plastic, but we'll have to rebuild all this. Sulfuric acid, I think we can get rid of you too. And yeah, we'll just take this all the way back. I want to hold on to the gears because, who knows, we may need blue belt someday. That means you guys aren't needed. Solid fuel, You guys can go away as well. But I do want to hold on to cracking. Let's see. Lubricant. We do need you in the mall. We'll leave you there for now. You know, my original mall setup had fluids barreled. It came out of the Impractical Factorio series. I'm kind of wishing that I still had it. Oh, and sulfuric acid we will need for power. However, I think we've got enough sulfuric acid to last us just a bit. We'll get back to... We'll have to redo some of this petroleum stuff for local things. Okay, so you are the main petroleum line that comes out. And you hook up... Okay, you hook up right there. We've got a pump. Okay, so this is the main petroleum line coming out. Okay. And this will be the main light oil line coming out. Okay, and then we have the lubricant, and we can pull water off of any of these. Okay, that's good. And I think we can go ahead and say goodbye to this. I did go up and make some repairs to the wall up there, so that should all be good. Let's see, we don't need the copper, but we probably want to hold on to the steel line. Can't reach. All right, that copper will come back once we stop making the... once we stop making... all the circuits, because those are getting ready to putter out because we just took away all the plastic. That's going to make red stop, and we're just going to have a whole bunch of green circuits there in reserve. We'll go ahead and let those guys, I guess, just kind of putter out. All right, so we've got our lines coming in here. This is going to be our fluid bus line. And we said it's going to be a sushi belt. That's what I claimed. So it's probably going to come up... I guess I'm going to try to... Well, it'll come up somewhere. We'll say, like, maybe in the middle. And it'll come around like that. We can go ahead and take you under. And that'll be our barrel return as well as all of that. Okay, so the way that I did this in Impractical Factorio was I had 3 lines. We only did 3 fluids, so we're going to technically need 4 lines coming out. And then we're going to need a return line coming in for our empty barrels. Barreling is done in one of these. Okay, so let's just come down here where there's some room. You are going to barrel, we'll start with petroleum. Okay, so it makes sense to take in the input from that side. We'll have a belt coming around and coming down that will have the empties on it. And we can run that as an underground right there. We will need some inserters pulling in and some inserters pushing out. And that will look something like that. So our empty barrel line is going to be up here. It's going to feed off down into there. It's going to fill up and then go that way, and that'll end up basically on that line. And you'll be water. And I think what I actually did before was turn that into a balancer, because you can get in the situation where some of these fluids are starved. Can we make this... Do we need that dedicated line coming down? Can't we just pull... Can we just pull off of that line directly and then just have one line coming in for our return? And then that would give one input line. And that could tighten this up a little bit. Okay, and we don't need that anymore, and we basically just need 2 more of these setups ordered up. One for light oil, and one for the lubricant. All right. And I'm not sure how many of these we're technically going to need. I felt like we did 2 in Impractical Factorio, and that felt like it was more than enough. Get that somewhat centered. All right, so our barrel return line, how early can we make that? We could put that as early as that right there. Remember to put that back. That's probably a load-bearing RoboPort. Okay, that'll go off like that. We'll put a empty barrel filter off of that, and then all of our empties will go down this line right here. And we'll feed into that, and in turn feed all of those guys. All right, so this will come out. And I want to set up you guys pulling that stuff off. Those are going to go into buffer chests. And then we'll have some inserters sending those out. And we can go ahead and combine that all into one line. Guess we should do it proper. That comes out. Turns and comes on and feeds the bus. Or the main fluid sushi belt. Okay, looks like we've cut out power for everything. That is all right. Okay, so does this... That pushes out that way. This ends right there. So yeah. Light oil. And we can pull lubricant from right there. Petroleum. Oh. Nope, that won't work either. I'll take it one more down. Okay, petroleum. And, water. That could be more of a spaghetti mess. Could definitely be more. All right, so you got your water, you got your petroleum, you've got that, you've got that. Okay, fantastic. All right, we're also going to need this steel line right here coming in. Oh yeah, I forgot that doesn't work. Do we not have any more? No, we don't. We can just do it like this. This steel line will need to come up because we'll need to make a factory here-ish that is making empty barrels. And we'll just go ahead and mark that off for now because there's going to have to be logic controlling that, and I'm not quite sure what that's going to be yet. All right, so I think that is pretty much everything we need to make that work. I just need to come down here, and we'll set up this. Yeah, get rid of this. That's not needed anymore. Actually, none of this stuff is needed anymore. Okay, but we got to be really careful to hook up the green wire here and the red wire here as well. That's what broke the last sushi setup. All right, and all these can run in directly with the exception of the fluids, which we can't really build our thing right here because it'll mess up the walking path. I mean, I guess it would be okay, but, you know, things. So I'm thinking about actually just kind of grabbing the whole fluid setup and taking it off like that. And then bringing it down here and then building that little fluid contraption here. And then taking it back. That's the thought. We'll see if that sticks or not. Who says sushi belts can't have little twists and turns, right? All right, let's see. You're going to go across. Nope. Let's see, and I think I had it coming up on this one. There we go. That should be all of that. And then if we want to extend this down, we just need to extend that down and bring our sushi belt down even further. And that will work for that. Oh, and you need to be hooked up. There'll definitely be a purification step at some point in all this. Because right now this is all feeling very, very thrown together. All right, so we need to get that setup put in here and then get our red wire. Let's go ahead and run that while we're thinking about it. We can run it just right here up the power poles. This is going to be the red wire that's carrying the amount of items that we've pulled off into the sushi setups. That is going to go right up here. And we've got a power pole line down there. I think I want to go ahead and just make another one. Okay, and that'll go up to here. We'll have to hook these up to a counter, and this will decrement that counter. And we'll just leave this to completely back up, these belts right here, to kind of back up with a buffer, plus whatever we want to put in these chests. And, yeah, and we'll set these inserters to only insert out onto the line whenever those barrels are needed. And in Impractical Factorio, I set it up where we were making barrels, and I put a counter on there and said only create the amount of barrels that we need for these items. I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better to have like kind of a global counter on everything. Boy, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to give that one a think, I think. Because I would like to have that dynamic so that whenever I increase the amount of barrels that we're requesting here, it automatically increases the amount of empty barrels that we need to make, and it's going to track that, and if we lose barrels or anything like that, it would just dynamically create more. That would be optimal. I haven't really thought that out yet. But I need to. And I will do that in between episodes. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next episode, where hopefully we can get this thing going. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.